If you think that your blood pressure machine lies to you sometimes, giving you a series of inaccurate and inconsistent results, then make sure you watch this video to the end, because in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 9 important things that you need to do before you check your blood pressure, so that the next time you do that, you can get an accurate result. Hi lovelies, it's Yewande here again, bringing you with the best tips and tools for better health. And on this channel, I do videos on review of health products. I talk about home remedies as well as health education videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. So with that being said, guys, let's get into the 9 reasons why you get wrong readings when you check your blood pressure, coming right now. So reason number 1 is smoking or taking caffeinated beverage before you take your blood pressure. And this can simply be a tiny cup of coffee. A cup of coffee can even increase your blood pressure, especially in people that are not used to taking coffee. Caffeine can raise your blood pressure even if you don't have hypertension. And different studies have actually shown that up to 3 hours after taking caffeinated beverage, it can have effect on your blood pressure by raising it. So the second reason why people actually get inaccurate readings when taking their blood pressure is not emptying their bladder before doing so. Your blood pressure is lower when you have an empty bladder, and as your bladder gradually fills up, your blood pressure increases. And a lot of studies have actually shown that you can even have an increase of up to 10 to 15 points when your bladder is full. So to further emphasize my point, let's take a look at this study that was published by the Korean Journal of Family Medicine in 2011. The research was carried out on 172 middle-aged women to determine the impact of bladder distension on blood pressure. And from the study, we can actually see that the findings suggested and also confirmed that the systolic and diastolic blood pressure was increased by urine holding for up to at least 3 hours after the last urination in these middle-aged women. And it was also concluded that in practice, blood pressure should be measured after the bladder is emptied. So I'm going to drop the link to that article in the description, so you can just go and just click through and go through and see what I'm talking about. The next reason why you get inconsistent readings when you check your blood pressure is because you are actually measuring it at a different time every day. Have you noticed that on some days you measure your blood pressure and it is normal? On another day, you measure it and it's completely high. You have high blood pressure and you start to panic and you start to become anxious. Let me know in the comment section if you have actually experienced this kind of scare and what you actually did about it. So if you actually want to get the correct readings when taking your blood pressure, you should take your blood pressure at the same time every day, or you can even give yourself a time window. And this is because all through the day, minute by minute, blood pressure changes in response to different factors that are happening all day. So you can check your blood pressure now, and in the next 1 hour, it's a completely different reading. So my advice to you is generally to give yourself a time window, maybe a 2-hour duration gap. You can make it a point of consciousness that every day you check your blood pressure between 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. That's a good time. So generally what I'm just saying is that give yourself a particular time window to check your blood pressure every day so that you can get consistent readings. The next reason I want to share with you might actually sound surprising, but it is true to a large extent. And this is measuring your blood pressure over your clothes. But generally, this depends on how thick the cloth is. But just to be on a safe side and just to ensure that you get the correct readings, every time you check your blood pressure, make sure that you check it by placing the cuff directly on your upper arm. Okay? So that way you can ensure that at least nothing is interfering with your readings. Another reason why you may get high readings when you check your blood pressure is stress and anxiety. And it's very common for a lot of people to go to the hospital very stressed, worried and anxious, which is actually justifiable. And when they get to the hospital, they end up being diagnosed with hypertension that they did not have, and they are placed on a lot of blood pressure medications, which they don't even need in the first place. So stress and anxiety increases your blood pressure because your body produces a surge of hormones when you are in a stressful situation. And these hormones that are produced during those periods temporarily increase your blood pressure because it causes your heart to beat faster and it causes your blood pressure to be narrow. So there's increase in the amount of force that is needed to pump blood out of your heart. thereby increasing your blood pressure. And that is what you see on the machine. So let me just quickly clear this misconception that a lot of people have. A lot of people have the misconception that worry and anxiety can cause you to have hypertension, which is not true. Anxiety does not cause a permanent increase in blood pressure, which is hypertension. It only causes your blood pressure to, increase. There's a spike in your blood pressure temporarily at that moment that you are anxious or worried. So the simple solution to this is that before you check your blood pressure, make sure that you are well relaxed. You are at a point whereby you are well relaxed and comfortable. And, with that, you are going to get accurate readings on your monitor. So the next reason may actually seem a bit obvious, and then you may think that, we already know this, but I just decided to add it to my points because I don't want to assume that a lot of people are aware about this. And this is exercising before taking your blood pressure. And it even doesn't have to be vigorous exercise like going on the treadmill or jogging or jump rope or anything. Simple form of exercise like climbing the stairs or walking a long distance can have dramatic effects on your blood pressure. So the reason why your blood pressure increases when you are exercising is because while you are doing exercise or any form of activity that increases your heart rate, your muscle needs more oxygen. So your heart begins to work faster. It begins to pump faster to supply your muscles with the oxygen it needs. And as a result of this, your blood pressure increases. So after you finish exercising or you engage in any physical activity, your blood pressure should return to normal. So the general rule of thumb is that 30 minutes before you have your blood pressure checked, don't engage in any form of physical activity. And even if you do, just make sure you have at least 30 minutes of rest between, the time that you're getting your heart beat faster and the time that you're getting your blood pressure checked. So the next reason is actually something that a lot of people do not pay attention to, and this is using the right size of cuff. It's very important that when taking your blood pressure, you use the right size of cuff for your own upper arm, okay? Because if you do this, in fact, that is the general rule. When you do this and you take a cuff that is smaller or larger, you would definitely get the wrong readings. In fact, most blood pressure measurement errors occur by not taking time to determine whether your arm circumference fall between the range indicators that is written on the cuff. And I've even seen some funny instances when people are taking their blood pressure, or even health professionals are taking blood pressure with cuffs that are too large or too small. And then some people will even be like, oh, we managed it like that. There's nothing like managing. It's either the cuff is your size or it's not your size. If anything short of that, you are not going to get the accurate result. So keep that in mind next time you want to take your blood pressure. And this should even also give you a guide when you want to buy your personal blood pressure monitor that you'll be using at home. Make sure you are buying the one that is the right size for your arm circumference, because if not, it's just a waste of money. So moving on to reason number 8, which is also very important, and this is having the right sitting technique when taking your blood pressure. You see, when you are taking your blood pressure, you need to make sure that you are seated upright, and most especially be seated on a dining chair and not a sofa. So you must be seated in a very comfortable position, and your back must be well supported. Your feet must be well placed on the floor and you should not cross them. Your arm should be put on a flat surface, okay? And you should make sure that your upper arm is at your heart level. And at that level now, you make sure that your cuff is placed directly on your upper arm to take your blood pressure. You know what? All these little things like sitting upright, make sure you have your back well supported and having your legs not crossed might seem like little things that is not necessary, but those are the things that actually add little millimeters of mercury to your blood pressure readings, and you get the wrong readings. So make sure you put all these things in place so that next time you check your blood pressure, you can get the accurate reading. All right. So the next reason I'm going to share with you today is actually talking while checking your blood pressure. I've seen a lot of people actually doing this when checking their blood pressure. They are either talking to their doctors or their nurses, or they are talking to their friends, or even when they are checking it in their own home, they are checking their blood pressure and they are talking to their children. This is not right, because talking can actually affect the readings that you will get when checking your blood pressure. If you are talking while checking your blood pressure, you will most likely not get accurate results, and it can even add up to 10 points to your reading. So the simple solution is to be still and silent while checking your blood pressure and ensure that you avoid any unnecessary distraction around you. So the next time you measure your blood pressure, keep these 9 things in mind. Don't smoke or drink caffeinated beverage, empty your bladder, measure it at the same time or same time range every day. Don't measure it after clothes. Don't measure your blood pressure when you are stressed or anxious. Avoid exercising before taking your blood pressure. Avoid talking when taking your blood pressure, and make sure that you use the right size of cuff for taking your blood pressure measurement. So I know that a lot of people might actually find all these rules overwhelming, but just relax. It's not as ambiguous as it seems. My advice to you is that the next time you check your blood pressure, have a checklist and write all these 9 points. Make sure that you go through every one of them before you actually check it. Make sure that everything is in place. And you will find out that after you do this for some time, after you repeat it for 2, 3, 4 times, it will become part of you. And you know, your reflex, you even know that, oh, I want to check my blood pressure. I've not emptied my bladder. Then it will be second to nature to you. And then you just find yourself doing them. But just make sure that you take conscious effort. So it's also important to know that one single eye reading is not an immediate cause of concern. So if you check your blood pressure and you see readings like 180/100 or something, it's not an immediate cause of concern. First of all, think about all these factors. Maybe you just finished exercising, or you've just finished doing one thing, or your blood pressure cuff is too small or too large. Just take all these factors into consideration. Just know that one single eye reading is not an immediate cause of alarm. Try to relax, put all these measures in place, and also, check it multiple times. And if you still get the same readings, then make sure you contact your healthcare professional so that you can determine what is exactly wrong with your blood pressure. So I hope you found this video helpful, and hopefully you were not making any of those mistakes. And if you were, don't worry, a lot of people do. Just make sure you learn from this video and you take actions for your future checks. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I make 2 videos every week all about health tips and health product review, and I will always love to have you here. Again, thanks for being here. My name is Yewande Alao, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.